The Acolyte is gone. At least the ratings like this. So, welcome back to Views with Hughes, your agenda-free news. This is Jerome Hughes. Now, let's go ahead and get right into it. So, today we're diving into some pretty interesting and perhaps not so surprising news about Disney Star Wars: The Acolyte by Leslye Headland under Kathleen Kennedy. Now, if you've been following the Disney Star Wars shows on Disney Plus, you might have noticed that this one has been struggling a bit. And let's break down what's been happening and what it actually means for the future of the Disney Star Wars. Now, first off with this big news is that with this fourth episode, Disney Star Wars: The Acolyte by Leslye Headland under Kathleen Kennedy has completely dropped off the Nielsen rating charts. And it's a pretty clear indicator that the viewership has taken a nosedive. In fact, it's now the least watched Disney Star Wars series on Disney Plus, and even less than Andor. And that's really saying something. Now, when Disney Star Wars: The Acolyte by Leslye Headland under Kathleen Kennedy first premiered, it had like about 488 million minutes and everything watched with its 2-episode debut. And not only seems like not a bad start, but by episode 3, that number dropped to 307 million. And now for episode 4, didn't even make it to the Nielsen charts. For a bit of context, number 10 spot on the charts is held by Netflix's King of Collectibles with 298 million minutes. So this is Star Wars: The Acolyte by Leslye Headland under Kathleen Kennedy is below that. And I'm not all that surprised. Disney Star Wars: The Acolyte episode 3 by Leslye Headland under Kathleen Kennedy first premiered was pretty rough, especially with that flashback scene with the lesbian witches. And I think it turned a lot of fans off. Just last week, I was responding to a viewer in the comments, shout out to him, and he mentioned that he stopped watching up after episode 3. And he really enjoyed Andor, but this show just didn't cut it for him. Now, Samba TV, which gives more up-to-date info, shows a decline in viewership. And by episode 6, this is Star Wars: The Acolyte by Leslye Headland under Kathleen Kennedy wasn't even on their charts. Now, this trend is pretty consistent, and we can also compare it to, Disney Star Wars Ahsoka for a moment. And by the 4th week, this Star Wars, the Ahsoka had like 459 million minutes watched and was still on the Nielsen charts. And Andor, on the other hand, actually saw an increase with its 4th episode, hitting about 485 million minutes and stayed strong with episodes 5 and 6 too. But other Disney Star Wars did even better. Disney Star Wars: The Book of Boba Fett had about 580 million per a minute for episode 40. Disney Star Wars Kenobi had 682 minutes, and The Mandalorian season 3 had 795, and The Mandalorian season 2 had 939. Now, Disney Star Wars: The Acolyte by Leslye Headland under Kathleen Kennedy just aired its final episode, and there's no word on the second season. Also, 75% of Disney Star Wars: The Mandalorian viewers didn't tune in for Disney Star Wars: The Acolyte by Leslye Headland under Kathleen Kennedy, and that's a huge drop off and a reminder. Now, sure, the data isn't the freshest, and it mainly reflects what happened after episode 3, but even before the latest numbers, it's clear that the viewership dropped off. Social media chatter supports this too, and midway through Disney Star Wars: The Acolyte by Leslye Headland under Kathleen Kennedy, only diehard fans and haters were talking about it. The average viewer was just gone. Okay, but remember, this is just my take based on what I've seen and heard, and we don't know the full picture until the official numbers come out. But still, it's pretty telling when a show like this can't, like this is always Acolyte under Leslye Headland and Kathleen Kennedy, can't even keep it going. And it's supposed to have potential, but somewhere along the way, it's lost its grip. But the fact of the matter remains that this was a show that shouldn't have started from the beginning. Now, Disney Star Wars: The Acolyte by Leslye Headland under Kathleen Kennedy was announced at last year's Star Wars Celebration. Okay, even right after Kathleen Kennedy mentioned that she's employing Lucasfilm employees, whether they be in the higher roles or even the lower roles, with 50% women and 50% men. Okay, and just as soon as people saw that or heard about it and word got around, that's when Star Wars fans tuned out. Okay, and it shouldn't be any surprise, because even I knew they was going to be bad. Okay, and I was also wondering if you all thought it was going to be bad, but I'm pretty sure you all were going to feel the same way or think the same way that I thought about it. And the fact of the matter remains is that it's going to be an uphill battle. I mean, as a matter of fact, take a look at the Acolyte Disney Star Wars: The Acolyte ratings on Rotten Tomatoes. they did what's called a review boost. Okay, that was when Leslye Headland decided to go on social, tell people on social media to go ahead and boost this show so that way it can get to a second season. Now, if you look here, Disney Star Wars The Acolyte only managed to be boosted up to 17%. That's it, because before it was around like 14 and 15%, and it can't even get like over 2% and stuff. It can't get higher than that. And the fact that the matter remains that this show, everyone's showing, is not the Disney Star Wars The Acolyte is not what people want, because they know that Disney Star Wars The Acolyte under Leslye Headland and Kathleen Kennedy is from the High Republic. Okay, the High Republic books didn't sell. The High Republic books couldn't sell. Why? Because of the fact that we all can, make emphasis from the covers of the books of what their intention is with the series itself. And Disney Star Wars The Acolyte only confirmed it for us. And you know what? This is all on Kathleen Kennedy, to be honest with you. Kathleen Kennedy is one that approved it. Kathleen Kennedy is also one that approved the Acolyte and promoted it everywhere, as well as the fact that the matter is, I still guarantee you she didn't even read the script for the show itself. Now, like I said earlier, we're going to wait for the real ratings to come out to see where it landed, because I guarantee you it didn't land up on the top 25 or even top 15. Okay, and Disney Star Wars The Acolyte by Leslye Headland under Kathleen Kennedy is actually doomed for failure. And if it's going along this rate, I guarantee you it's going to get the Willow treatment and be removed from Disney Plus altogether. At this point, Disney Star Wars The Acolyte should just go ahead and become a tax write-off, and they should just go ahead and remove it altogether. But the fact of the matter is, Leslye Headland, who's working under a new company right now, I'm talking about a casting company that is for productions and stuff. She basically wants a second season. Okay, Leslye Headland wants to come back for a second season. Leslye Headland also wants to go ahead and add more to Disney Star Wars The Acolyte. But as y'all remember, Leslye Headland stated that she was going to go ahead and just throw everything into season 1. And when Leslye Headland did that for Disney Star Wars The Acolyte season 1, that's when the story, the plot, and everything just got lost. There was a lack of character development. The show wasn't really being taken seriously by a lot of fans at all. And you know what? They have no one else to blame but themselves. And the fact of the matter is, Leslye Headland and Kathleen Kennedy will have to answer for the decisions that they made, the things that they've done, and as well as the fact that, Leslye Headland claimed to be listening to the fans. I mean, which fans did Leslye Headland listen to? Because of the fact of the matter is, if Leslye Headland actually listened to the fans, or actually saw what the fans thought about this, then Leslye Headland would have never got onto this project in the first place. She would have never went on ahead and did Disney Star Wars The Acolyte. But instead, not only did she do it, but she also did Leslye Headland did several interviews with several different social media outlets and telling them how good the show, how good The Acolyte is, how it was, who she was marketing it to, only to find out that Leslye Headland didn't even market it to actual Star Wars fans. Okay, instead Leslye Headland marketed it to young adult fans who were interested in a lot of teen romantic or young adult romantic genres and stuff. And Leslye Headland failed right there. I mean, marketing is the key component to getting people excited about about any movie or show. It's not just about it's not just about what the story is about, but it's also about who is the audience. I mean, quite frankly, Disney Star Wars The Acolyte, it didn't even match up to the expectations that some of the fans out there had for it. A lot of people thought that Disney Star Wars The Acolyte was going to show how the Sith started. No, instead it showed a bunch of convent lesbian witches and stuff talking about how how the Force, as they call the thread, is how two kids were created, and only find out that those two kids were actually one. Okay, and the fact of the matter is, that's not good storytelling. You also, Leslye Headland under Kathleen Kennedy decided to go ahead and make the Jedi the enemy and the Sith the good people. Now, that's how a good way to have viewers turned off. What do you think? Did you even watch Disney Star Wars: The Acolyte by Leslye Headland under Kathleen Kennedy? If so, what were your thoughts? Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? And do you think there's still hope for future Disney Star Wars shows on Disney Plus? Let me know your thoughts about it in the comments below. Also, be sure to include any additional thoughts you might have in this particular topic in the comments. If you enjoyed what I shared in this video, go ahead and smash the like button, share far wide across social media. And if you haven't done so already and you enjoyed all the content that I put out there, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification so that way you're notified future uploads and updates. Till then, peace.